So in this tutorial, I want to go over two functions that might be useful for your final exam, right? That's the maximum and the minimum function. So we use the maximum function to do something very simple. All this function does is that it returns the largest value in a data set. And this function is defined as follows. We let a and b be integers, and we say that the maximum of a and b is a if a is greater than or equal to b, or b if a is less than b. Now, even though this function works for n values in a data set, I'm specifically defining it in terms of two inputs, and you'll see why later. So let's look at a few examples. The maximum of 7 and 2 is, of course, 7, because that's the bigger number. The maximum of 1 and 3 is 3. And the maximum of -1 minus 2 is -1. Remember, for negative numbers, the number closer to 0 is the bigger one. Now, using this definition with two inputs, let's say we wanted to find the maximum of three numbers. Suppose, without loss of generality, that A is greater than B, which is greater than C. Then the maximum of A and B is A, and the maximum of A and C is A. Now, the reason I define this function in terms of two variables is because we take A and B and we put them into the maximum function, and it outputs one value, which means this function is actually a binary operation. So you guys could check to see if commutativity, associativity, and etc. hold, right? But that is it for the maximum function. Now, the minimum function returns the smallest value in a data set, and it is defined as follows. Let A and B be integers. Then the minimum of A and B is given by A if A is less than or equal to B, and B if A is greater than B. So for example, the minimum of 2 and 1 is 1. That is the smaller value. The minimum of -3 and 5 is -3. And the minimum of -1 and -4 is -4, because -4 is further away from 0. And of course, when we define the function in terms of two inputs, we have that it is a binary operation. So that is it for the maximum and minimum function. Okay, bye.